What's up my loves, my name is Paige, this is Patience with Paige, and today we're going to be talking about the top 10 books I read in 2021. I had a fantastic reading year last year and I found quite a new number of favourites, and there were 10 that just stood out astronomically. I loved them so much in the way that they were articulated or just the general vibes, my emotions, anything like that. And so I want to talk about 10 plus 2 additional little books. I'm not going to do synopsises because would that really be me if I attempted it? No. So just take my word that I fucking love these books. They are in no particular order. I do know if you've been on the channel for a little while last year, especially when I read one of these books, you will know that it has taken the top place for that. So we're gonna go in size order because that's how I've got them stacked. So the first I have to talk about is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edo-Lodge. I felt that the way that they conceptualized each concept and discussion point that they wanted to address was done beautifully. It was very easy to pay attention to and to hear the messages that were trying to be crossed. The history behind everything as well was really fascinating, and you could see the research and integrity that goes into a work like this, and so I absolutely adored it. I think it is a great platform to educate yourself with and to learn the way in which people are struggling, and you need to be paying attention to their struggles, and understandably why Freddie no longer wants to talk to white people about race. So it was a really eye-opening read, a really enjoyable, again it isn't quite the right word, but it was so engaging to read and experience. The next is Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. So this is following Jam and her best friend, and when Jam accidentally cuts herself on one of her mum's painting, a monster comes out and its name is Pet. And it's a deep look at society and how there are so many different facets to ignorance, to the belief that there is no such thing as evil when it has been eradicated, even though there are lurking signs that it has not. And just an interesting look at different communities and the way that they express themselves. Jam is a transgender child, and they clearly accept that there's a lot of diversity in the different relationships that exist. April sent me this and I absolutely loved it. Really, really fascinating. Absolutely loved. The next is a trilogy. So this is counting as one with the 2 honourable mentions. So I'm going with Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert, but also including the other 2. For me, I think Danny just takes the cake. I really enjoyed Eve's story and I loved Chloe's story, especially looking at the different ways that she deals with her fibromyalgia. But for me personally, I just related to Danny's character so fucking much, and that hit home. I could see Ash and my relationship in her and Zaf's relationship. There was just so many different elements of it that was so beautiful and really hit home for me, which I had a better connection to Danny than to Chloe or Eve, but loved them all so much. So honourable 2 mentions with Chloe and Eve, but yeah, Danny would be my favourite out of the trilogy. See, I can read series in a year. The next is Frostheart 3, Rise of the World Eater. Sorry, this is book 2, I was holding it as a placeholder. Book 3 is the conclusion to the Frostheart series, and oh my lordy, holy dooly my soul, I was not prepared. There are feels and emotions, and just Jamie Littler is a fantastic illustrator and writer. This trilogy has been a ride, and the 3rd one had so many twists and turns. There was so much emotional depth to it, and it just had me feeling a lot of feelings. A lot of conclusions to trilogies now that I think about it, because the next is God of Lost Words by AJ Hackworth. I cried a lot. I have yet to recover. I think the Hell's Library series has been on my top 10 of the year that I read them in, because this trilogy has just meant so much to me. I did not see where this was going and I had so much fun with it. My soul has yet to recover, and I still every time I hold this just want to put it in my head and to stare into space for a little minute, because it was a ride, but it was one of the best conclusions I've read, and I'm just so happy with it all, how it all shaped up. I'm devastated how it all shaped up. Many tears, but I loved it. The next is Neon Gods by Katie Robert. Hades and Persephone is my shit. This brilliant mafia-styled romance, soft cinnamon roll characters that have a dark, hard shell, and they just snap in there, and it's just beautiful, and holy shit, the sex scenes were Also, same with the Brown Sisters trilogy. Amazing sex scenes. Just, whoo, yee! Just this in and of itself. Essentially, Persephone is trying to get away from Zeus. These are not mythical creatures. They are set in mafia-inspired world with the namesakes of the Greek myths and sort of attribute a lot of their personality types. But Zeus is a fucking dick, and so Persephone tries to run away and ends up going to Hades' side of the city, and just brilliant. Next we have You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. This was the most adorable thing I've ever read. I had so much fun getting to see Liz come into herself and just go for what she wanted, and to be able to aspire for those higher goals and just enter into win prom queen so they would be able to get the scholarship that they need, as well as falling in love and accepting and broaching their sexual orientation more, especially when the school is against same-sex partners going to prom together. It makes them eligible to win prom king or queen. There was really interesting discussions on it. Listening to the audiobook was fantastic. The narrator just really hammered home the different character voices, and I felt like I was there with Liz along this journey, and brilliant. Is anyone surprised? Malice by Heather Walter. This is a Sleeping Beauty retelling following Maleficent, and it's the villain origin story, and holy fuck my ovaries. The library. This encapsulates everything that I love about villains, and the fact of they're usually pushed to be the villain by other people rather than inherently being bad. When you do a story that shows the villain and you are rooting for them, it just hits next level for me, because I love having that darkness to them, to be able to see them struggle and want to be doing good things, but everyone is saying, no, you're evil, you cannot accomplish anything positive. And just where this left, I need Misrule. I need it, because answers, please. Holy shit. The way that these characters were conceptualized was done so well, and I really had a ball getting to know them and seeing the darkness in so many different people rather than just our villain. And then last physical one I have is Queenie by Candice Cartier-Williams. I expected to really enjoy this. I thought I was gonna have a fun time with it. This blew me away. It just, Candice Cartier-Williams knows how to hit the nail on the head and broach topics that so many people are afraid to talk about, especially in relating to a black protagonist. The discussions on hair and people touching black people's hair was just brilliantly done. Queenie constantly had these remarks that were just so honest and raw and messy, but so powerful and beautiful, and reading them just made you go, holy shit, this is someone's lived experience. You can tell that Candice is writing from their own experience, and it hurts because Queenie goes through so fucking much. There's so much shit that happens. The microaggressions that just are constantly prevalent is just so disheartening, but so accurate. And I think that Candice really just expertly wove all the different points together and made a really beautiful novel, just following someone in their late 20s. And then the last book I have is Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. Masterpiece, beautiful, holy shit. I still think about this daily. It's really left a mark on how the exploration of dynamics and history still are having repercussions to the day. I really appreciated that our protagonist is just stuck in this loop trying to rescue this dickhead of a guy, and the lessons that they uncover throughout the novel. It's just so expertly done. The time travel elements, I've noticed that I'm not a big time travel sci-fi person. I can appreciate it, but I'm never like fully 100% invested in that concept. It's just not something that I love. This was done so beautifully. It was always, I think there's the suspense element of not knowing when they're going to be pulled, and that in itself just kept me invested, and I was going, okay, what's going to happen next, rather than this person is stagnated in this particular time and they're looking for a way back. It's so flexible. The transfer of time, brilliant. So if you're looking to read a classic in 2022, I would definitely recommend it in trying Kindred. These plus Kindred and Frostheart 3 instead of Frostheart 2. I did love Frostheart 2, but Frostheart 3 just hit it out of the park with the emotional depth and twists that were occurring. My top 10 to 12 favorite reads of 2021. Let me know in the comments what was one of your favorite reads of 2021. I had so much fun with my reading in the past year, and I can't wait to see what 2022 holds. I've got quite a few interesting things on the radar, so we'll see what shapes up and ends up becoming my top 10. If you like this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of this mess, feel free to subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye!